right, good morning, all. Welcome into the coffee run here. It's John from Pro Craps on Casino Gaming TV. A couple things going on. One is we're gonna get back at our daily paycheck here. So far, where are we at here? I gotta get my filters in. We're at Daily Paycheck Casino. It's the DPC bankroll. So I think we are. Looks like 5-2, 6-2, something like that. We had a loss last week, a small one, a couple of wins, and we'll see how this week goes. I don't know. I've been toying with a couple ideas for this part of the morning, right? Like ways to play. If I should be testing out stuff again or going back with just kind of what works, but I'm going to stick with what works, I think, for a little while and just get out there and do a little bit of horseman, a little bit of drawdown, and then get back to the meat of the show. So there's our stats. The graph is not very exciting just yet. You can see, you know, the down here, the down one we had on Friday, the little loss we had there, but let's get some more sessions. Let's get like 300 sessions in. See how we do over the course of a year with this thing. So let me go ahead over here and we'll get switched over and start rolling the die. Oh, I need my roll tracker, I guess, don't I? Now, why does that screen look so dark? Isn't that weird? How dark this is over here. I wonder why it's like. Oh, I know why. Hold on. I'm gonna make a quick change here. I'm gonna change out. 1 second. I forgot to get my iPad out so I can put this is like live TV at its best, right? Let's get this thing logged in. But yeah, I think if I turn that top light out, it'll get a little bit more yellow like it's supposed to. Let me just try it and see if it looks bad. Let's see. Is that better? It got fuzzy. Fun. Huh. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, whatever. We'll get through it like we always do. All right, let me refresh that screen. And let's get going. We're going to run out here with a $500 horseman. Get that out the way. There's the 5. Looks like 5 black chips. We'll go 200 on the dump. 3 combats. And that's it. Let's get going here. Let's have a nice solid win to start the week. What do you think, guys? Good morning, Lou. Good morning, Ian. Good morning, Randy. Here we go. Coming out. The puck should be off, by the way. It's a 4, hard 4. There it is, 2-2. The Ian Olsen special, the double deuce right there to start the day off. Maybe that's a good omen for us, right? All right. Whoa, that's not going there. That's going here. That's going to be a combat right there. Here we go. Here we go. Cruise ship special, I call this one, right? The Headless Horseman. That is a 1, 2, 3. I saw that coming. Lose our combat. This dice, like for me, landed like in slow motion. I could say, oh crap, here comes an ace deuce. Bummer. Here we go. It's almost like when I'm coming out, I've got to not set my hard way set with the 1s or the 6s or the 2s anywhere near the top of the die, because that seems to be, if one of those things sticks, we end up in a horn number situation. We just don't want that, right? There we go. That's a 7. That's a 7. That is the well shit special. Okay, that's okay though for us, right? We say well shit for everybody else at the table, but we are going to win 200 here and 100 there. Now, of course, we lost our first don't, which sucks. But there's the 500 we started with, and here's 200 bucks in profit, which is pretty cool. Way to get out of the box, right? So I'm going to stick with it. We're going to go horseman a second time. I'm not ready to draw down yet. I don't really feel like I'm warm, right? So let's not draw down. Let's catch a number. Let's see, that was I got to reload the roll tracker. Every time I hit a 7, I have to refresh the screen. So that kind of resets itself. All right, here we go. Let's horseman a second time. Come on out. Coming on out. That puck should be off. I know it's on the 4. I didn't move it. Here we go. Here we go. Front landing. It's a 5-2. So we gave away our freaking profit. Doesn't that suck? Just like that, we gave it away. What a bummer. But we have 5 units still. We'll just start over. Move the puck out of the way. Here we go. Put that in 5, 2. All right, coming out. 6, 2, 8. That's the easy 8 right there. We have a point, which is good. And here we come. Here we come. Let's grab us another quick 7. Would be great here, right? Hate burning that first $200 in profit, but sometimes the horseman will get you that way, right? It's a tough, hard throw. It's a 4. Eesh. Combat will travel. I'm going to use my stick to do it. I'm lazy. Travels to the 4. Second comeback coming through. Alrighty, here we go. Here we go. That's a 6. Okay, that works. That works. 2 comebacks set. Look at us. Third and final one. Let's have all these numbers repeat, huh? All right. A little bit of a hard hit at the 7. That's all right. We'll still win a unit, right? The horseman does its thing. Those 2 lose, but we get paid 1 in the come and 2 in the don't. And again, there's our 500. There's $100 in profit. So we're not getting it. We're just kind of treading water here. Again, that's kind of what it is sometimes in these morning shows, right? We're treading water until we figure out what we're doing, right? With the dice and everything else. So, all right, let's boy, that's 2 straight shooters, right? Where we had, what was the point there? We had a 6, 2, 8 for the point. I forgot to put the numbers in. Then we had the 3, 1. Then we had the 4, 2, and now we have the 6, 1, 7. Okay, so we're just not rolling well. I feel like I need to do it again. I feel like I'm not ready to even try to do a drawdown. I haven't had a shooter get more than a couple of shots yet, right? Let's try it again. Let's come on out. We'll do one more horseman round. If I heat up a little bit, I'll switch into the drawdown as we go here. But in the meantime, let's go. Let's do this one here. We'll do this set, 3V. Here we go. Little kiss on the top. It's a split of the die. It's a 5-1, which is okay. As long as I survive the don't, I'm kind of happy. Here we go. Here we go. Decent looking shot, and it's the 5-2. That's a quick 7. Yikes. Win in the come, win in the don't. Boy, my shooting today is for shit. But look at that. There's 500 we started with. There's 400 in profit. I feel like we got to call that a paycheck. I mean, I feel like today's the day where discretion, better part of valor. There's our starting bankroll. There's 4 profit. I think we're going to be done. I think this is the kind of day where my shot is not producing anything, and we're going to take what the table gave us, which is a quick profit on the horseman, and run like hell, right? Run like hell. It's funny, if we had, oh my God, look how bright that light is. If we had done the drawdown, we would have got aced, right? We would have got hammered. And again, I like, some days I get kind of pissed off because I roll out here and I'm like, do a little horseman, start out with a great shot. I'm like, hey, I would have made it with the drawdown today, right? And you kind of had this sort of buyer's remorse when you come into the other strategy. But it's a great way, the horseman is, to kind of come in slow and be like, what do I look like today? And, you know, if I have a bad series of rolls like we did today, fine, man. That thing just $100 at a time, and you'll just kind of eke your way out of there like we did today. Some days, if you're on a great roll and you're shooting the lights out, that's also good because you're going to get up into the box with those 3 combats and you're going to repeat them all, right? That's fine too. Even if you knock your don't off, if you win all 3 combats, you're still up $100, right? You're still up a unit. That's why that's a good strategy to kind of jump into a table with. If it gets hot, you'll lose your don't, and you don't worry about it because the other box numbers are taking care of themselves up there, and it becomes a steamroll on that side. I like that way it transitions, as long as you don't run into the buzzsaw with it. Anyway, happy Monday, everybody. Got a couple of things to kind of go over with you this morning. So let's see. We're gonna look a little bit ahead here at 2025. Things that are gonna come out for this year. I think we're gonna talk through. And ahead of that, I see in chat Ian's tough loss. Man, the Hawks needed Green Bay to win that game in the worst way, didn't we, Ian? Seahawks fans around the world are like, gosh, we needed I think we needed 2 teams to win yesterday. We got one of them, which was the Dolphins. I think we needed either Green Bay or somebody else to win, and they both lost. So we're now Hawks are completely eliminated from the playoffs. But even if that happened, next week we would have had to win the game against the Rams, plus have 9 other things happen. It was a crazy scenario for us. It would have been 6 or 7 levels deep into the tiebreaker for us. So we're out of the playoffs. It's unfortunate. Green Bay, we have to find a team to adopt now, right? Of course, I'm going to be on the Eagles side, right? I'm an Eagles fan through and through. But I always pick another kind of dark horse team to kind of be like, that's an interesting team to watch, right? Last couple of years, it's been Detroit for me. It's like, if it's not the Birds, it's Detroit, right? That division, man, with Detroit and Minnesota and Green Bay, holy crap, what a great division that is. So that'd be fun to watch. I kind of like whoever comes out of that mess, along with the Eagles, is going to be the 2 teams that I think everybody has to watch out for. I don't think that the Chiefs have anything for anybody this year. I think the NFC's got it. Those 4 teams are tough as what would Waylon say? Tough as elevator rope or something like that, right? Anyway, yeah, Joe, look at this, and 32 more subs to 3,000. That's awesome, dude. Let's get in there. I think this channel, you're ahead of this channel. This channel here, Casino Gaming TV, is at 2,700. We're a ways away, but we'll get there. This is a slow mover because all we do is lives, right? The same thing, Joe. All we do is lives, and we're kind of talking to the same people all the time. So it's very difficult to kind of grow when you're doing nothing but live TV. And that brings me into kind of what I want to talk about for what's happening here on our channel for 2025. And I want to get back to, I say here, everything old is new again. I want to get back to some of the things that we were doing that were fun. Like what I discovered this past year in 2024, a little bit of a year in review kind of thing, and we can do more of this tomorrow too. It was an interesting year for us, right? We moved in July, as you know, and so it's a new studio that still isn't quite set up. I still have things everywhere. I'm still not quite where I need to be here with the studio yet. So I've been kind of off rhythm, and we finished that big gambling series. We did the Gambling 101 through 401 series, and that was 87 shows or something like that, which, by the way, all 87 shows are in the books now. I finished yesterday editing down all 87 of them. It's taken me 3 weeks to get there, right? So they're all edited out. Also, all the Craps for the Cure shows are all edited out too. I got them all done and got music on them and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to start releasing those things once a week on the 2 channels. So we'll have the full gambling series released and the full last year's and this year's. I redid them all, the Craps for the Cure interviews. So all that's coming out, and we'll get all the channels kind of up to date with everything. That's been a ton of work to get all that stuff done. But anyway, I discovered that teaching all that Gambling 401, the whole series, it took a lot out of me. It was a lot to kind of build the whole course and think about, I think about what Heavy Halton does and what Bo Parker does, what Tony Leo does, what Ed and the crew at Casino Quest are starting to build up, what David at Casino Quest is starting to do with building these schools and workshops, right? It's hard work to put a curriculum together. It really is. They're doing it for a weekend. What do I do for a weekend, right? David's doing it for a one-day thing. We'll talk about the bridge here in a little bit. Putting together 80-something shows of lecture series, which is I basically wrote 2 books, if you think about it, was a lot of work. Took a lot out of me. It took a lot of when I finished that, I was like, oh my God, I'm done. You know what I mean? I was so worn out from that whole process that I'm like, I want my channel to be fun again. I want to get back to just having some fun. So I'm looking at the ideas that I got here. I'm like, what can we do this year that's going to reinvigorate all of us, and the things that kind of we enjoyed doing the first couple years of these channels, I want to bring some of them back. I want to come back and do Friday Night Fights again. I want to bring the Friday Night Fights thing back. I want to start getting Discord more energized, getting folks talking in the chats, and I want to bring back Friday Night Fights. As a matter of fact, I might bring back Friday Night Fights in the form of team play, right? We've done it person versus person this whole time. I'm considering doing it team versus team, like 2 players versus 2 players. Maybe not every single week, but maybe like every other week or once a month. It's a 2 versus 2 kind of a thing. And for that, we'll use WinCraps Online or something else to do it. I think that's kind of an interesting way to approach it. I want to get back to some team play exploration. I think team play is where nobody's really talking about it. Like, I remember Jeremy has said to me, "What's going to be, the thing? Like, what's the thing that you're bringing that nobody else brings?" And I think nobody's talking about team play. I know some guys do merged bankrolls. I think Alfredo calls it the corporation when he and Corey and others go out there with a merged bankroll. But really, what they're doing is they're betting half the table with each other, right? Each guy bets the highs or the lows or whatever. They're not really coming at it team strategically, right? Like place bets with a regression system for one guy, come betting with progressive odds for the other guy. Like really coming at it with 2 people, right? I think that's what I want to do. I want to get to the Friday Night Fights with some team play. I think this might be a fun thing. I want to bring back the Battle Royale. We did the Battle Royale the first year with Chris and Chiro, which was awesome. The second year with Craig and Chris. Didn't do one this year. I want to bring that back again because it was fun, right? Something fun to do. I'm also going to, as of the first of the year, resurrect one of Chiro's things, which was Here's the Deal. Do y'all remember the Here's the Deal? And you can, in chat, raise your hand if you remember it. We only have 17 people watching, but very small audience today for some reason. Raise your hand in chat if you remember Here's the Deal. Chiro used to do this once or twice a week. He would just have like some story at the craps table, like, hey, I was at a table the other day and, imagine you're there and, you have to pee and you're on a heater. What do? Here's the deal, right? And he would ask these like kind of, not deep, but, just interesting questions. And then, we all respond to it. So I'm going to bring that back. I'm going to bring back the Here's the Deal. I'll think of something fun. If you all have Here's the Deal question, you can bring to me too. And we'll just talk through it. I'll answer them, here. And ideally what I want to see is the other guys, Jacob and Ed and Gargoyle and Craig and Joe and all the guys that are going live to answer those Here's the Deal questions live on their shows too. Let's kind of spread that thing out again. Something else that we did, which I forgot to put on the list here a couple years ago. I think Sideshow Gamble might have started this. I forget who started it, but let's do the Pass the Rack again. Remember the Pass the Rack challenge where we started out with like $1,000 and player 1 start with the grand. His job was to win 20% and then pass the rack to another player. And that YouTuber would take the virtual rack. Now he's got $1,200. He had to win 20% off the 1,200, and we kind of passed it around the whole community. And at the end of it, somebody had to win like $100,000 in the end. We should do that again, right? We should totally do that again. So I think we're going to bring back the Pass the Rack thing. I'm going to bring back Daily Dose of DI at some point, and I'm going to bring back, and what you'll see today is this idea of doing some themes every day. So like, for example, Mondays, we're going to do a little bit of Math Mondays. Dirty Sanchez, what the hell is that, Jake? He's either spamming us or he's trying to be funny. Anyway, Mathy Mondays is going to be a thing. I think every Monday we'll talk about some math kind of concept. And I'm not going to go deep. And like Tuesdays we'll do something, Wednesdays we'll do something, like kind of like Friday Follies, but every day I'll have a kind of a theme to it. So today, what I want to talk with us about is this idea of bankroll, rail, bet sizing, and that kind of thing. So I'm going to switch over over here. And the rail's up top there. Well, and let's talk through, I'm going to move this out of the way. Let's talk through some strategies. And I think this is going to be sort of what led me into the whole idea last week and the week before that of talking about leverage plays. Let me walk around the table here and we'll explore a little bit about some third grade math, right, on how to manage your rack. Good coffee. Let's see. Let's put up in our rack over here. Can you see this good enough? Make sure I can see your chats and stuff. Okay, let's go. Doesn't matter what's in there. We can do. Let's do 160s. We'll do 150, 160. We'll do 160 like 3 times. We'll just take 3 shooters worth. And I'll just going to demonstrate what we were talking about last week but more importantly, a concept that Jacob from Wager Me This brought up a few months back that I thought was cool at the time, and now I think it's even cooler when I consider the leverage plays. So here we go. Let's bring this in, and let's do. Actually, I'll put this in the back of the rack. I think the back of the rack is the better spot. Bam, bam. All right, we'll put them back here. So there's our three cracks at 160, and you can approach. And let's pretend you had 10. Let's pretend you had $1,600 here. You had 10 bullets, as they say, right? Just for space and time, we'll do 3. And you can look at these things. Each one of these, I call them slugs. Each slug of whatever your spread is. As I'm going to take that crack at it. We're going to go out here with 160 3 times or 10 times and hope for a run. Hope for a run. And I would like to look at this and say, well, what if we took the 160 and work this 160 like a dog, right? Using some rack management. Now let's go ahead and make a statement. We're either going to play with what we won, or we're going to play with well, let's say this, we're always going to play with what we won. Let's call it like that. Let's say we're always going to play the next shooter with what came off the table. If nothing comes off the table, if it's a PSO, it's just the next bullet. But we're not going to get into our next bullet until we completely exhaust the first one. And what I mean by that is this. Here, and it's a concept that Jacob put out first about a year ago. There's a 4, by the way. Trust me on the rolls here. That was a 4. That was a 3-1-4. And the concept was this. It was basically look at your first set of bets and treat it like a bonus game on slots. And here's what he means. Let's roll it out, and I'll explain as we go what we're going to do. There's a 6, a 5-1-6. So check it out. We're going to same bet. I'm only going to same bet here. I'm not going to do anything fancy. Just going to same bet. There's $35. I'll put that in the front of the rack. Let's roll through here, and we'll see. Until we get a 7, we're going to roll. And I may actually force a 7. There's a 9, $35 9. And again, we'll just same bet it. Keeping that front of the rack kind of in the forefront. I kind of want to see a 7 so we can do it the upside down way. But anyway, there's a 6-2-8, again, $35. We'll just same bet it. Nothing fancy. And then we're going to work this 160 as hard as possible. There's the 7. Okay, 5-2. So we're going to lose the 160 that's out here. Now, in most cases, you have really 3 options here. One option which is obvious. Okay, we didn't win that much. We'll just take our next 160 and try it again. That's what most people teach. Casino Quest, Jeremy, a lot of people teach that's the thing. Just take your next bullet, right? This bullet didn't do nothing, but so take your next one. Maybe that guy's going to be the hot shooter. What Jacob was talking about a while back, which I think is kind of interesting, is take what you won, which is, again, it's not the full Monty. It's not the full amount. It's not the full 160, but I can do this. I can basically take $75, $105, what we have out there. We can go here. We'll go $30, 6 and 8, $25, 5, and a $20, 9. Take what you won and use that, right? Alternatively, go 96 across. We have $105. I can go 96 across and take an across bet. So 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3, 96 across with $9 change. Okay, that's an alternative, right? And you maybe even grab the hard ways. Take the 4 whites and do a little hard way parlay with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And only use what you have remaining. That's on the wrong cap. What you have remaining from that first bullet. Again, work the first bullet like a dog. It didn't make itself back. It goes out a little smaller the next time. And maybe instead of dipping into your next bullet, work the first bullet hard, okay? Interesting way of approaching this thing. Let's try this one. Let's just see how this works out, okay? There we go. That's a 9. So our new point's going to be a 9. Let's see if this shooter has a good run that we can capitalize on from a smaller level, but not dipping into bullet number 2. And this is kind of like how we work the horseman too, right? The horseman and the come ladder never go back in. We never go to new bankroll until the first shooter's worth of money is exhausted, right? We work it hard. Anyway, the 10 pays $27. 15 pays 27. We'll rack that up. It's going to work the front of the rack here. and we'll play out until the 7 comes. I'm just gonna same bet only until the 7 comes. We'll see what happens. There's a 4. Again, it pays $27. We'll just rack it up. And you can already see I've got 55, I got 59 bucks in the rack. I already know, right? If I 7 out right here, my next move is gonna be 44 inside, right? There's the, I called on it. There's the 7, 5, 2, 7. So again, shooter number 2 resulted in basically nothing, right? $50 and change. Here's what that is, right? Had we gone out to 160, the next bullet, we would have got burned. Here we have $59. Can't go 66 inside, right? What I could do is a $30 6 and 8, or I'll take that as reds and go 44 in. You go 44 in. I gotta get rid of my dirty whites over there, and we have 15 bucks left. Okay, I'll put it all to the 4, right, and that's it. I'll put 10 on the 4. We'll take 5 bucks, and we'll again go back to hard ways. 1, 2, 3, 4 with $1 change, and that's it. So we're gonna burn the whole thing. $44, $54, $59. Okay, we have actually that's all of it. We had 59 bucks from our first, and that's it. So shooter 1, or our first bullet, is on round 3. We used it once. We got a couple of shots, whatever. The second shooter basically PSO'd on us. It got two hits and we're out. Now we're down here at this tiny level, right? And it's all we have left. But again, I'm not burning 160 3 times. We're using our bankroll a little bit differently. There's a 4. Now maybe we can turn the 3rd time with the first bullet into something. Okay, not enough money here to go iron cross even, right? I can't even do it. We couldn't even go inside 48 with enough money in the field. So that would have been a consideration. There's a 5. That's cool. That pays 14. So our first hit. There's $14. Maybe the shooter can help. Easy 8. Easy 8 also pays 14 bucks. We'll do 15 for 1. And also drop $1 to replace the hard 8 that just fell down. 15 to the rack. Oops, it's behind the sign. I can't see what that is. It's a 5, 3, 8 again. That's great. There we go. 5, 3. It was up on against the wall there. 5, 3, 8. So again, that'll pay 15 for 1. 15 for 1. And again, I'll drop that last $1 also to replace the hard 8 and put that in the rack. 6, 6, midnight. Oh my gracious, what a terrible throw. Hard 6, that's beautiful, hard 6. All right, that's gonna pay also 15. We can't do that, we'll have to do 14 bucks. 14. Oh my gosh. There's the 14 for the hard 6, or for the easy 6 up here. The hard 6 over there pays $9. 9 for that. So what are we gonna do? We'll take the 4 whites, we'll press all the hard ways. I'll take this 5 and that 4 back to my rack. I think we're getting close to having this part of this first shooter kind of get himself even. I'm actually gonna take these reds out of here. Here's 25, 50, and the bank is getting light on the reds. So yeah, we got 50. We have 59 bucks back. So this shooter actually this shooter at this little we already made our money back on him. We're still 100 bucks light of the 160, right? But our first bullet is still in process, right? But now we can start being a little bit more potentially aggressive, right? That 6 pays 14 bucks, right? We'll replace the hard 6. I'll put 2 bucks back here to the hard 6 to replace that. I'll take the 10 bucks, grab the 10 with it. I'll put $2 back in the rack. And now we'll start doing single presses. It's a 7, 4, 3, 7. Didn't get it. But look at my rack management, right? You think about managing your rack like a boss, like I always say. Look where we are. We're working this thing. Now, again, this shooter wasn't great. 4 or 5 hits, whatever it was. From a 160, you might have made a little bit of money back. You might have got back to even on that particular shooter. But 3 shooters now have not generated enough money to pay for themselves. We're still on our first bullet. Again, I'm working that first bullet really hard. That was the idea here. Work the first bullet as hard as I can. This time, we'll take $1 home, and I'll go just 6 and 8. We'll take the 5 whites, and we'll go there, just the 6 and the 8. Again, I'm still working the first bullet. Maybe the first bullet works out, and as we're on the way to it working out, we're reserving these bigger shots for later. If we ever make money, there's a 5, 415. If we ever make money, we'll use a leverage play on the next bullet. Point is 8. You'll see what I mean. If I can get one of these shooters to make some extra cash, we'll do it. There's another, boy, the 5s are coming over here. Give me a 6 or an 8. There's the 8 hard. Sweet. That pays 35, 25, 35 bucks. That's awesome, right? So how you want to play this, up to you, obviously, right? But our first bullet was at 160. Now I've got 60 bucks out here, plus, you know, that 75, 85, $95. I can stretch that out, grab the 5 with it, and take a nickel back. There's the 5. That's awesome. So check it out. We'll get 35 bucks. I'm going to take 10 bucks, go to the field with it. I have to take that back, and we'll take some change back to our rack. We'll iron cross here for a minute. 5. Again, that's awesome. That'll be a net $25. We're going to win 35. We're going to lose 10. Put the 10 back. It's a net of a quarter. Now my rack has got 60 bucks in the rack. Technically speaking, I've got 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 greens. So I've got 151 in the rack, right? We earned back the whole first bullet with what's out here. Now we're just going to play it out. Ah, the 7. Damn it, we didn't. That one more hit would have done it, right? One more shot would have been enough to get all of it back and start replaying. But look at this. We had, between what's out here, there's 150. We had 156. We started out that first shooter with the 160, right? So we're still working our first bullet, right? Talk about money management and working your rack, quote unquote, like a boss. Here we go. Let's do the 6 and 8 again with a buck change, okay? Same thing. We'll just do just the 6 and the 8. Another 5 is the point. And let's just see if we can't make this foray work. We're still working shooter 1. Haven't had a chance to make a leverage play yet because the shooters have not been very good. There's a 6, 35, 25, 35. Again, we'll go field and 5. Let's grab the iron cross from that first hit. There's the 5. That's the point that wins 35. Minus 10. Back to the field and a quarter to the rack. Puck's off. That's actually not a bet. It's just out there for my convenience's sake. Come out 7. There's a 9. Here we go. Here we go. We need like 2 or 3 hits up in here. God, we got another 7, 6, 1. Can't seem to get out of our way. But look at this. We're not wasting 160 every time. All these shooters, except for 1, I think had less than 3 shots. Every shooter would have lost money. Every single one. Had we gone out 160, we'd have lost on every single shooter to this point. By using 1 shooter best we can, we're still in our first bullet. We have $26 left, so we're winding down to where this thing is, you can't do anything with it. Now is when I probably switch over to another shooter. Now I'll keep this in the front of the rack for now. I'll use that as our part of our next bets. But yeah, we exhausted all the work on that one. We worked it like a dog. Let's go again. New round. A 9. This is a hard game. Isn't this game hard? Let's go. 6 hard. Okay, 6, 35. Again, we'll same bet it. Same bet. I need to put the whites over there. Okay. Let's have a better run this time. Make some money and play with some leverage. There's a $35 win. On the 5, there's an 8, another. Oh, good. Look at us go. We got 3 wins. 3 wins at the big level. We're almost out of the hand. Almost that. There's 105 in the rack from this shooter, right? There's another 8. Great. 35. We're getting there. Okay, we've got, there's 100. If I make these look like a red chip or a green chip, there's 125. We're one green chip away from having our bullet back, which is great. Ah, the 7 comes. I started talking too soon. We got a freaking 7, right? We were one green chip away from being out of the hand. God, it's hard to get out of the hand, isn't it? If you're just same betting. Here we go. All right. Once again, we'll go as best we can across. We actually did have, we got our money back plus $6, which is awesome. We're not going to leverage the 6. I mean, we can make the 6 look like 36. If you get extra wins, right? Your next foray out here is what we call that leverage play. A little bit higher. A little bit higher. There's a 9. What a brutal session this is, huh? 5 for 9. There's a 4, which is great. That pays $50. I owe the world $1. I don't have any 1s, but we owe a vig. 6 and a 4. That's a 10. Also pays. Actually, I'll pay that one 49. 25. 45. I'll pay it 49. And I'll take the $1 for the 4 from the last hit. Now we're even on our bigs. So there's 75. Alrighty. There's another 10. 50 for 1. Look at our rack. We have 125. Almost our money back for this bullet, and I'll put the bullet back. God, I can't get the bullet back, right? We can't get our bullet back anytime. Crazy, isn't it? But we've earned enough to almost play across. We can get the insides for sure. And we have 35 left. So I'll do, we'll do 15 on the 4, or 20 on the 4, 15 to the 10, pucks off. And again, we're not dipping into our last bullet yet. We're still working that second bullet. I've got like, what, 6 shooters in here? And I'm only on my second bullet because I'm working what came off the table as the next series of bets. There's a 10. All right, we have an out. Let's go. Wow, PSO. Now we have to go to our third bullet. Bummer, man. That's the first true PSO that burned the whole thing. So now we're going to have to go last bullet. But look how long we've lasted here, right? And I'm just same betting the wins. All right, here we go. 5. Let's go. Make this the guy. We last more than one roll. Midnight. 7 out. Nope. 2 consecutive PSO. Look at this. All these shooters, we got nothing out of it. What a bummer, man. God, what a bummer. What a huge bummer. Shoot. Let's do it again. I want to get one guy to win something, for crying out loud, right? We should win money on one bullet. We won on all these shooters $0. Crazy town. Let's do 3 more bullets. How sad that I can't throw more than, I think we never got more than 4 numbers on any one shooter. Here we go, 160 out. Kind of unreal. Here we go. Here we go. 11, yep. Again, we're not doing line play. We're not doing anything nuanced. I'm just running the bankroll. There's an 8. 6-2. Come on. Come on, shooter. That's all right. That'll be the 8. We'll get 35. Take it. Again, I'm just same betting. I'm not doing anything advanced. We're just going to same bet until we get even. Then we'll do a little bit of pressing. Another 8, 6-2, 35. All right. There's that. 3 craps, 3. 5. 415, 35 again. Awesome sauce. All right. Now we finally have 105. I'm going to get these as a green. 105 in the rack, which is good. We're getting there. Another 5, 35 more. Love it. There's 35, shooter. All right, 125. We're almost doing okay. Another 8. Third 8 for this guy. Now we're out. Now we're out. There's 150. There's 160. So what I do here, the bullet goes back. Back of the rack is clean, right? I've got $15, $17 in locked profit plus the 160 that's out here, okay? If this goes down, you'll see what happens. But if it doesn't go down, we'll start increasing a little bit as we go. It's our fourth 8. Boy, if you're a pressing guy, you'd be all right. Let's drop $2 and take the 8 to 42. Lock in a quarter. There's a 5. Take the 5 to 35. Lock in a quarter. There's a 6. That's awesome. That'll pay 35. I'm going to drop a nickel. Ask for it to go to $42. We'll take back that quarter plus 3 and change. And now that's 42. 50 for 1, everything. 50 for 1, 50 for 1, 50 for 1, 50 for 1, 50 for 1. Just the 9. They're all going to pay us 2 quarters now. There's the 10. That pays 50 for 1. And that can get locked up. Here we go. 7 out. That's totally fine. Now watch. We finally made some money. So we have choices to make here. 2 choices you can make, right? You made money. You didn't make a lot. You made $110, $135. Okay? We got our bullet back plus this. Okay? Option 1, just play with this. Come out here, 110 inside. With a 4. That's option 1. Just play with the profit that you earned, right? Take only what came off the table, play with that, work that first bullet, which is this is still money off the first bullet, work it like a pig, right? The other option is this, and this is what I was doing last week. This is this idea of playing with some leverage. Take that same first bullet that you were already working anyway, right? Put it back out there to work. Put the same first bullet back out there again, and also make it work harder. Take the money that you earned, leverage play that first quarter up. I'll take that 25 as reds. We'll go 40 to the 4 and 35 to the 10 and do it like this, okay? Take that same first bullet plus what you won on the first bullet, and let's come out here and destroy this thing. You're still only at risk for the 1 bullet, right? You could have played only with profit because we earned our bullet back, or add the profit to that same bullet and go out here with bigger numbers and have the same series of rolls, earn you double, right? There's a 4 hard. Let's see if it works out. Let's see if we can't get our 160 back a little quicker. We're probably 2 hits away or 3 hits away from the 160, right? There's a 516 that's going to pay $70. Right, we'll same bet that. Again, looking to put that bullet back in as fast as we can. 6, again, 516, another, we'll do 75, 4, 5, $70 plus 5 is 75, right? We'll put this back over here, and we're working towards it. Check it out. Come on, don't be a 7 here. Awesome, thank you, sir. We have 35 on the 10. Okay, that'll pay 70. We'll do 75 again, 75, 4, 5, plus we gotta pay the dollar vig. So there's the vig. So, where are we now? Check it out. There's 150, 160, the bullet's back, plus 50 in profit, plus we're out here at these big bets. Now we can start murdering, right? We don't get a 7 right here. We're gonna be in great shape to start hammering this table. 7, of course we get a freaking 7, right? Right as I'm talking about that, but look at where we were. Right, every bet up here is now paying $70. They're all paying 75 instead of 35, right? Because we used that first bullet as a hammer. Now we still are in that same spot. We still have our first bullet, 160, and we have the $50 that we just pulled off on that last 10, right? We can play this anywhere we want, okay? Let's do this. Let's make it look like, let's see, what if I went like this? Let's take it as nickels. And we'll go 35 on the 5, 35 on the 9, and we'll do 42 on the 6 and 8 each. Let's make that look like change. So the whole inside, everything is paying, this is 204 across, right? I'll take $6 back to the rack. We have 204 across. Everything pays 50 bucks. Not as good as last time. There's a 2. But we're still using that same, it's at 7 on the come out, that same idea of only ever burning the 1 bullet. There's a 4. Okay, here we go. Let's have a good run, shooter. There's a 9. Again, 35 on the 9 pays 50 for 1, pays $49, 50 for 1. Same bet. We're not going to do any pressing until we're out. There's a 6. Again, 50 for 1. There's the 1. There's the 50. It's 100 bucks. 6 again. There'll be 50 for 1. I don't have $1, so I'm going to drop a nickel. Get back 4 change. 154 in the rack. 6 again. Is that 4 6s in a row? Holy cannoli. 50 for 1. I'll do it like this. I'm going to pay it like this. 25, 50 for 1. And the reason why is this. We're going to take our rack and again, put that bullet back. There's 160. So the first bullet has been recovered. We have $15, $18 locked up. Plus we're out here 204 across, right? We've taken that first bullet, by the way, the first bullet of the second round here, it's earned 204, right? That bullet has earned itself back, plus we're playing 204 across. Now, I know we lost the first 3 bullets in the first series, but because we were able to use those wins and level it up, it worked itself out. The first round, another 6. Whoo, baby. 50 for 1. And now we're going to get a little bit more aggressive. We're going to make the 6 and 8 look like 60 each. We'll take this money back. But yeah, I think using the first, there's a 10, 5, 5. That's going to be, again, 50 for 1. Okay, I'll take the 10, make it look like 50, and just take the $25 back. We'll half press the 4 and 10. But yeah, the first when we were losing, we took what little we pulled off the table and made that our next series of bets. When we're winning, we take what came off the table and add it to our next, what our next bet would have been, and get these bigger bets to start with. There's a 9. Again, it's going to pay $50 for 1. Make the 9 look like 50 now and take back 35. I'm going to take 5 reds and make them a green because I'm getting light. Here we go. 9 again. 50 pays 70. We'll do 75 for 5. Make it look like 75. So now it's going to pay a black chip. We'll actually collect the whole black chip when that thing comes back. And there's a 10. There's a 4. There's a 6. That'll pay 100 bucks. For 2 and vig, I will take the black chip. I'll take the black chip. 7 out. Okay, that's good. We got a black chip off that table before the 7 came. That's awesome sauce. All right, so where do we get to here? Again, by using our wins to make a bigger bet series, we got out of that hand really fast. And the 2 hits that came after we got out of the hand were nice big hits, right? We got our money back, and we locked up 1, 225, 230 and change, right? That gets us back basically 150. Let's do it like this. There's 160. There's one of our bullets, right? There's one of the bullets we lost in the first round. We got one of them back, which is cool, right? We're still 2 bullets behind, and you've got this money left over. Now, what you can do, right? Again, take the money that you won, the 160, plus all this, plus that same first bullet. If you want to really leverage this thing up, again, you're only risking the initial 160 that you were going to risk anyway, right? 150, 160, I had an extra quarter in there. And we can go out there and make it look like 320 across, right? We'll take this as greens and make it go 320. Really leverage it up, right? Keep some of this for good measure, right? We'll take some of this back, but go out there at 320. Boom, boom, right? Take the 160 plus, and I actually have enough money here to go if I wanted to make the insides even higher. I can make the 6 and 8 because again, I've got the extra juice to do it. They can go to 105. The 9 can go to 75. I'll take just this little bit back. We can leverage the whole thing up. We're still only at risk for one bullet, right? When you're on a winning series, hammer the wins. Don't run from the wins, right? Don't lean into the losses. When you're losing, don't go back 160, 160, 160. Go back with the little bit that you took off the table. Now, let's just get a couple of wins here. Let's just try and avoid, well, we PSO'd, of course. Of course, when we're saying it, we PSO. We'll lose the money. We'll make sure we're not here, but let's play a little bit of what if. What if we didn't PSO? What if this shooter wasn't that, right? Let's look at how fast the recovery goes, because that right there pays 105. The first one, okay? Anything that's not a 7, there's an 8, also pays 105. And guess what? You're out. You got back your bullet plus. If I paid that 105 with greens instead of blacks, like this, we'll pay it like this. There's 150. There's the bullet right there. There's the bullet back. There's profit. 2 hits and you're done, right? Instead of it being 4 or 5 hits, because you level up, in and out, right? That's the idea. Of course, we PSO when I'm doing the demo, and that's par for the course here. And I think it's good to see, obviously. Let me get all this cleaned up, right? The result of that PSO, by the way, which really blows, is we're still here, right? We still worked that first bullet as hard as we could. Now, food for thought. We had the bullet here. We were out there at 320, which tells you were up over a couple $100 in profit. You could have basically walked, right? We turned the second shooter's leverage play into money. So we've shown if you don't win enough, go out for less. If your 160 turns into $87, go 86 across. Don't dip into your second bullet. Work the first bullet. If that second shooter goes off, great. You started out with a little bit smaller bets, but you worked that first shooter twice. You got 2 cracks out of 1 shooter. If you're losing, if you're winning, go back out with the same shooter plus your profit and get those bets, those wins up quicker and get out of the hand faster. I think there's an acceleration from profit and there's a deceleration, but also the ability to kind of hit the hammer when you're low. I think managing your rack in that way is interesting. And again, not 100% sold on like, hey, this is the golden parachute here, right? But to me, it's an interesting way to approach it. When I look at the mistakes I see people making, and by people, I mean me, I make the same mistakes all the time. If I always go out there with the 160, the same bullet every freaking time, and you get those quick 7s, you're burning bullets, big bullets, versus taking the 1 bullet and saying, well, 160 earned us $70. I guess I'm going 66 in on this next guy. I'm going to burn that bullet to the best I can. I think it's interesting if you approach the game from a managing your bullets standpoint like that. It's just an interesting nuance to it, and it should extend some time, I think, right? So I think anyway, I'm going to walk back over here and talk to you face to face now. We did a little demo there, and I think hopefully that gives you food for thought. I heard the beeps going, like folks are talking in chat. So hopefully there was some interesting conversation there about that style of play. Let me bring this over, and let me take a look here at your questions. Let's see. Let's see. I thought Jacob used the next bullet and half of the profit. So Jacob's got a couple of ways there, Joe. So one way he does it is what I showed. And again, I'll zoom into here again really quick just to kind of redemonstrate this. If your first bullet was let's just say it's 110. I'll just do it here. I'll put it out in the field. If it was actually, let's just take it like that. If it was 110, and you got, a $35 win off of something, and the $35 win off something else, you brought back $70, and then you get the 7, right? Your next bullet could be, one way of doing it is to take your 110 and add this to it and say, well, we're going to build up our next bullet by leveraging the little bit that came off the table. And your next timeout is 110 plus the $70. Okay, that's one way of doing it. The other way he has shown us, which I think is really cool, is taking only this, only that $70. Okay, well, that first bullet generated $70. We're going to use that $70 to go 66 inside. And that's it. Let this thing ride itself through. That's one way of using your bankroll to like make yourself last a while longer, right? The other way is to take that little bit of win, stack to the next one, and keep trying to build, and get these giant bets out there. I think it's best, as I look at those two ways of managing it, and again, you've got really 3 ways to do it, right? One way is use your bullet, use your bullet, use your bullet. The second way is use your bullet. If you don't win enough back, go out there smaller. Don't dip into your master bankroll until that's exhausted. That's the second way. The third way is to always build up the next bet with whatever comes off the table. I like doing that after I'm up. So you think about when you're up, your next out is the next bullet plus the profits, the actual profits, right? Especially if you can build a bullet back. So anyway, Tom says the Horseman was built for PSOs, then play like that with profit. Yeah, totally. Like the Horseman's all about switching around. You shouldn't be playing the Horseman for your all-day strategy unless you're trying to earn a comp on a cruise. That's designed to get you out. The Horseman is designed to be an ease in and let me switch to something else. That's the idea, right? That's the idea there. So, all right, Old Bay says, hello, Craps World is catching up on the show. Yeah, we're going to bring it back, dude. I'm going to bring back Friday Night Fights. You are the king. I think, do you have the record, Craig? I think you might have the record. I think you and Corey are tied for the record, or you have it. I forget. You would know better than I do. But yeah, I want to do Friday Night Fights again, and I want to do it with teams. So I'd like to have Friday Night Fights, sometimes 1v1, but I want to start getting 2v2. And again, that'll give us some interesting strategy talk. It'll be really slow. Duracell's going to hate it because it's going to be super slow. There's no good way to do it fast. So I don't know how entertaining it's going to be, but it's going to be, I think, still fun for the guys playing. All right. So James, I see this play all the time, and it seems to be the same result. Players go broke one by one. And I think you're right about that. I think Garrison says this a lot, and I think it's important to hear his words, whether you buy into it fully or not, right? All right side bettors die broke. It's John Patrick said it. Garrison repeats that all the time. And you can see what happened here, right? We basically died broke, right? Now, that last shooter, again, if I'm not doing a show, right, I'm not going out that big, right? I'm probably going to, because that would have been a $275 profit there, right? We probably would have left. That would have been cage time. But to showcase the thought process, right? And that thought process is a lot like the daily paycheck, right? When I won 20% on day whatever, the next day I came in a little higher. I won 20%, came in a little higher. Won 20%, came in a little higher. Every day we came in a little bit higher, right? It's the same thing as that. This is just doing it per shooter. So if a shooter wins 20%, the next shooter I go in for that new amount. And on a per shooter basis, I'm going up or down based on my bankroll. That's how I'm looking at the per shooter thing as the daily paycheck idea of win X percent, next bets are that percent higher, and kind of work the system that way. There's something to this which I haven't quite tapped into and haven't quite nailed down yet. That's why I keep going at it, because there's something there. There's a little bit of there, right? Now, if you do all that from the don't, right, like Jacob does, where you have more of a hybrid play going while that box numbers are doing its thing, it mitigates most of that, right? If we had played from the don't today, it would have mitigated all those losses. We'd have been just fine, right? But I think playing from the don't with, again, the different sized come outs really makes it interesting for me. So anyway, I'll never get tired of trying new things out. I may be wrong. I may be all wet. It may be folly. But this is how we get better, right? This is how we try new things, learn things together, and I think that's part of it, right? I don't have all the answers, but I do have the time. So, all right. Let's see. You're both tied as a 6-time champ and 8 total wins overall. We're supposed to resolve the... Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. Well, maybe we'll do it live here. All right, guys, let's get out. It is. It's time for work. Y'all have a great rest of your Monday. AC will not let you increase your pass. That's crazy. So I said this last week that you could, if you have a pass line bet, hold on, I know this to be true most everywhere in the world. You put a pass line bet down, you can always add to it. It's a contract bet. They'll let you, it's basically a put bet, right? Because the point's 5 and I don't have a pass line bet, I can drop money on the pass line and drop odds behind it. That's totally allowed. It's a put bet, right? So I'm surprised you can't stack on top of that and then add more odds to it. That's very surprising because that's such an advantage play for the casino. When you do this, the casino is like, that's a dumbass right there. That guy just added extra risk without getting the benefit of the come out roll. That's basically an extra put bet. Because you could say to them, let's say you're here. Let's say you're pass line with double odds, right? You could also say, put me on the 5 with odds. You can just give them, here. If they won't let you do this, they put me on the 5. They'll put you on the 5 and let you put odds on it. They'd let you do that. So it's the same thing. I don't know why they wouldn't let you stack on it. I'd like to get an answer from a boss on why that wouldn't be the case. I've never not seen that be allowed. So I'd love to know, James, if you can ask them why they won't let you do that and get somebody to explain to you why you can't add to a pass line bet. Because it's way in their advantage. The house edge on the pass line bet once traveled is not 1%, right? The house edge on these pass line bets is 1.4% because the come out roll gives you a little bit of an advantage for a roll. That's what lowers the house edge. When you do a put bet, the flat put bet itself is like an 8 or 9% house edge. It's a terrible bet. They would take that. They should take that all day long. But yeah, ask for me. I'd love to know why. Love to know why. All right, let's get out of here, guys. I'm gonna go get to work, and I will. Ooh, that light is like shining in my face. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow will be again another kind of themed show on New Year's Eve, and then we'll take a day off, and I'll be back Thursday, Friday for the rest of the week. So that said, God bless all you guys. See you tomorrow, and I'm out. Bye.